All right. We are live and we are rolling.
We are live and rolling. We haven't done a pod of just us in, it feels like a minute.
Yeah, we were very fortunate because I think we just get on like these little like benders where we go, let's just DM a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And it was just so happened that in a 2-week period, everyone said yes.
Hello.
So we're like, yeah, let's do it. So I think we did about maybe 6 guests out of our last 7. So it was really fun though.
So much
People really
fun.
seem to enjoy them, and you build such a deeper connection with everyone you talk to in a podcast, because if you were to go to lunch, I almost feel like it's a different vibe. Like you're almost subconsciously, you're like, I'm on a podcast, so you're almost a little more intentional and thoughtful about what you're talking about.
Of course.
You want to ask deeper questions, where if you go get lunch, you still feel a little rude, like, hey, we don't know you very well.
Let's get to know you.
Yeah, it just seems
weird.
contrived, but on a podcast, it seems to fit the platform.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because even with a lot of your castmates from Days, a lot of them I've always seen in passing, hey, how's it going? But I never have had a super deep conversation with a lot of them because, when would I do that?
Yeah.
So it's so cool to really get to know these people, and everyone's just been so wonderful.
Yeah, we've had a lot of thoughtful conversations and just fun and hanging out, and it's really been nice. Before we chat, I don't want to have all the people wait. We have a lot to cover today.
We do.
But I'm gonna hold my excitement back, and I'm gonna enjoy the process of getting to so many things we want to talk about today. But let me just do our little intro.
You do it, baby.
Welcome, everybody, to the Freddie and Alyssa Show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. If you're new and you are just stopping by for the first time, check out our YouTube channel. We've been posting videos for probably about 2 years. So while you're at home, if you want some entertainment, we have vlogs. We've got interviews and podcasts. And today actually marks our 2-year anniversary. This is going to be airing. The Freddie and Alyssa Show, this episode you're watching is airing on April 24th, 2020. And our very first one we ever did was with Christopher Sean in Pasadena on April 24th, 2018.
Wow.
So we have our 2-year anniversary right now of the show, and we're on episode 93. So I feel like we're not, other than here, celebrating it. I don't want to put it on Instagram because people are like, oh, you're celebrating 2 years, and then 3 weeks later you're celebrating your 100th episode. It just seems like having a birthday on December 15th or something.
We didn't plan this well at all. It's just going to happen.
We were 7 short of nailing 100 on the 2-year, but
it's all right.
So that'll be really cool. But yeah, so it's been 2 years. We've been growing. We've found our voice. I feel like I really understand what we're doing now.
Absolutely.
I think before I didn't really know where we were going, how to evolve it. I didn't understand the platforms. I didn't understand what podcasting really was. I didn't understand YouTube. I didn't understand.
Well, and for a long time, we just had it on iTunes. We didn't do the video part of the podcast.
Yeah. So if you look at ours, we do have a gap where I think episode 13 to like 30 was just audio. So there's no video of those. They're all on iTunes. But then we got back on the video pretty quickly. So there's only maybe like 15 or 17, 20 at the most missing out of the 93 of actual video.
Well, what's interesting too with everything going on, think about how you watch even Joe Rogan, and you watch it because it's he and his guests on video. If you only could listen to it, do you really think you'd sit on the couch and just press play and just listen?
I would probably schedule something to do while listening.
Which is the whole point, though, because most people would listen to podcasts on the way to work, working out, at the gym, whatever it might be. And now that people aren't really doing that, I have heard that some podcast listens have gone down because most people are just sitting at home.
Yeah, you'd have to, well, yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. I feel like we're in a really good position that we're covering our basis by putting the audio up on iTunes to just have the book of business. I want to start putting the full-length video on Facebook as well. I know we've only done a couple. And then continue on YouTube, because even with Joe, when I listen to his, a lot of the time I do just put it in my pocket and I walk and I listen. But I'm not just going to sit in a dark room and listen. I have to be doing something.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm just glad we have all of our bases
Our bases?
Our bases covered.
Like baseball.
Yeah.
Our bases.
That's my.
Baseball.
When's baseball gonna come back? Well, I want to talk about that. We actually have some good news about what's going on out there. Yet again, without saying any of the key words, the hot words that we can't say here without being demonetized. But with the thing that's going on out there, we actually have some good news. But before, I don't want the winners to wait until the end of the episode.
All right.
We're not going to do you dirty like that. I know it's a good technique some people use. At the end of the video, we're going to do this.
That here.
No, we're going to give you the juice up front. And then also, too, this will really help these 3 winners. We're going to hit you up in the comment section here. If you happen to be watching this podcast before we hit you up, DM on Instagram, if you have an Instagram, Alyssa or myself, and give us your email so that we can actually correspond and give you all the Zoom links and everything like that. This way you don't have to put your email out in public. So if you have Instagram and your name is called, DM me or Alyssa, and we'll look for you.
For Instagram, just in case you don't have it, at Alyssa Tabit or
at FMSmith319.
Chances are I'll probably get back to you sooner. So,
so hit up Alyssa or hit up me. I'm on it. I'm on it.
But okay, without further ado, can we get a drum roll, please?
Yeah, want me to get my drum set, or do I just do it on the...
Just do it here.
Yeah. This closet is way bigger than you think.
Drum roll, please. Our first winner of the Zoom is Stephanie Higley.
I don't know what song that was, but Stephanie, you have won a Zoom, and we should have filled people in who haven't seen this, but we did a giveaway 2 weeks ago where if you wanted to enter and you commented and were subscribed to the channel and all that good stuff, we're going to pick 3 people to have a group Zoom with us, which will probably be like a 30-40 minute Zoom where Alyssa and I and the 3 winners, Stephanie and 2 others, we're all going to get to chit chat, get to know each other, hang out, and have a little Zoom. So Stephanie is the first winner. We got 2 more.
2 more. All right, let's get one more drum roll. We got to do it for everyone. And our next winner of the Zoom, coming in hot with personality, is Janet Guy.
Pew, pew, pew.
I love that so much. All right, we got one more. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
One more drum roll.
Oh.
Can't quit now.
My fingers are sore.
So annoying. And our last winner is Chris Kelly. Congratulations, guys. I'm so excited. And I have to say thank you to everyone who participated. You guys left some incredible comments. Just really cool to hear everyone's story.
Very heartwarming.
I love this community so much. Everyone is the best.
Yeah.
And it was really, really hard to choose. So thank you. We just appreciate it.
And we read every single comment.
Sure
so
did.
don't think your comment wasn't read. We heard everything you said. We appreciate you. And a lot of the comments, we do read a lot of the comments. So we're hearing your feedback, and we appreciate the love. We appreciate the feedback and tips and everything that you're doing, because we're basing a lot of what we do off of the audience, and we want to gauge by what all of you are doing, and it allows us to know how we are, because interestingly enough, our job is to exude and communicate in a way that is going through the cameras and microphone into your home and affecting you. And sometimes you remember, like, it's you and I sitting in a spare bedroom converted into a podcast studio with 2 cameras on that's not live. There's no audience. Yeah. And so we don't get the reaction. But when we read your comments, it's as if you're in the audience, and we're able to gauge, oh, wow, this is good. Yeah. People like this. People don't like this. People like this. So we're taking it all in, kind of like we're practicing for stand-up. You do 5 minutes, you get 1 laugh, you throw away the other 5 minutes, you keep the 30 seconds, then you add it, and then over a 6-month period, you've got yourself a set. Exactly. And so we're really taking in. So we appreciate all your love. And then for the 3 winners, we will contact you, and we'll get this going in a couple weeks. We'll find a time that works best for all of us, and we can just have some fun, connect on Zoom, and connect at a deeper level, because that's our whole point here of really being able to build this community and get to know all of you wonderful people.
Excited.
It's going to be good.
The greatest.
I know. I'm really happy about it. And then another thing too that we're doing for anyone who wants to chat. I've been on and off with this app Cameo. Mm-hmm. I kind of am bookable for a while, then not. But now that we're in lockdown, especially, and moving forward in general, I think I'm going to keep it bookable all the time. Yeah. This way there's not just certain windows of doing it. If you haven't heard of this app, it's essentially, how would you describe it? You can like book celebrities or influencers or actors or
person and the thing I love about Cameo is you can do videos and hire someone to make a video for you or a friend. So if your friend is obsessed with, I'm just going to say Sunny Kiriakis from Days of Our Lives, and their birthday's coming up, and you want Freddie to say, hey, happy birthday. I think that is the coolest kind of surprise.
Yeah.
To get a video of someone that you love and it's personalized to you. It's such a wild time we're living in, but I love it. So yeah, Cameo, you can book different individuals if you want shout out vids. And
then because too, I'm not sure how the whole thing works. I didn't put it, me and Alyssa didn't do a video together on the app. But we are available to do one together if you do want a shout out from both of us or a happy birthday or whatever. Just let us know, because I think when you book it, you can write, because people do like, hey, my name is Bill. My wife's birthday is on the 13th. Can you sing happy birthday to her? So let us know if you want one from me and Alyssa. And we will do one as well. But it's cameo.com/FMSmith319. We have that link in the description for you. And we'll make that available all the time, because there's birthdays and Mother's Day, and if someone just wants to have some fun.
Oh yeah, Mother's Day is coming up.
Mother's Day is coming up, so that's like a cool thing to do. I noticed they have this new feature, which I'm not sold on, and
What's that?
They offer like a DMing feature. It just feels funny to me.
You're not sold on it because we correspond
for
all
free.
The time. Yeah.
It feels weird to want to charge for someone to get it. Yeah. But then that's why I was hesitant on Cameo when I first heard about it. Because I was like, well, I do shout out videos for people anyway. And I was like, why do I want to put like a price tag on it? But then I realized, now that I've done the cameos, people have been hitting me up on all these different platforms, and I don't see all the messages. Sure. So this is a for sure way that your message will be seen. And I do about 99% of them. Some of them I won't do, but don't take it personal, but like just depending on what the request is. It's a guaranteed way. So I can see how the DM might work, where someone's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you, and this is a for sure way that you will see my message.
Right.
But then I feel weird about, if you have a conversation, the conversations cost money.
Yeah.
I just don't, it hasn't sat well with me, but people are doing it, so maybe I'm just overthinking it. But as of now, I just don't want to have it on. So if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Oh, so you can go in as the creator and turn that on or off?
Yeah. To allow a DM or not in the app Cameo. But right now, I just like the video. People have seemed to like it. I've done a bunch of them over the year.
Videos are always really fun.
Well, yeah, I like to have fun with it, and and make them different. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I just don't take myself serious at all.
No.
You just got to goof around, and there's a time to be serious and professional, but most of the time it's just hang out.
We were doing on Insta Stories yesterday the gibberish game.
Yeah.
And you were killing me. I feel like you've gotten really funny in quarantine. You've always been hysterical and make me laugh, but you're really up in your game. I'm just really enjoying you.
Just strange times. So I just feel like...
Is that how you cope?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a big part of it, not me being funny, but, being on contract and working for a huge company for so many years, I always had this thing in the back of my mind that I'm not only representing myself, but I'm representing Sony, NBC, and Days. And so with a lot of my content, with a lot of the things that I do or say, or, there were many times that I would go, I'm not just me. I'm representing someone. And like I said, not in something as silly as a video, but in the back of my mind, I've always been cognizant of certain things that I feel I have a little more freedom with now.
Yeah.
That I'm only... It's just between my audience and me at this point, that there's no third party that could be like, hey, Freddie, we saw that you were doing a keg stand. We don't know how that's going to, you know what I mean?
Of course.
People know that no matter what job you have. If you're a second grade school teacher, people get really upset about, like, you can't.
Oh, you got to be so careful.
You're kind of beholden to the respect of, you can't have your kids or the parents see you on a weekend doing a keg stand because you're.
Right.
But if you're if you retire from teaching, you can do a keg stand every day.
That's crazy.
So this is an ad for keg standing. Have you ever done a keg stand?
Actually, yes. Have you?
I think one. You know what? You might have even been there. The one time I did it was at Fahey. Who was Matt Fahey?
Matt. Yes.
Matt and who? Matt and who was his brother?
His brother.
Joe.
Joe.
Matt and Joe,
It's just
and then their mother
did the headshots.
did our headshots at one point, but they had a party. Probably 2000.
I remember this.
We weren't
actually.
together yet.
No, we were just friends. I remember that house.
And I think I had a picture of myself, and I remember it very specifically. I did a keg stand.
I wish so bad that I had my old phones with photos from that time. I would die. You go, no.
No.
I would just die to see, like, what we look like, what kind of pics. We do have some photos, but, I mean.
Do you remember why you took pictures back then, though? Because now it's very apparent I'm taking photos knowing I'm posting most of the
memories. Time. But I'm way more sentimental than you are.
But I don't think we cared as much. Like when I was growing up, you would have like the homecoming and the prom. You would of course take them for memories. But back in 2010, yeah, you would take memories, but you wouldn't take them like you would now.
Very, very
We really
true.
lived in the moment there. There were no cameras. There were no photos. Like, people didn't.
But I took mine, too, for MySpace. Like, and that was, like, 2006 to...
But not as much now.
No, it definitely was, for sure.
Because I have no pictures. How I know is that I have no photos. If you look through any of our Facebook back from 2010, no one had any pictures. I'm talking, you had a group of 30 people. If you looked at all their Facebooks... combined, you'll find 200-300 pictures. That would be in one party today.
That's true.
So, and it's not like organic moments that you would have today. It was all a line of people posing for a picture.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, I'm in a story and you see someone in the background keg standing, or hey, there's a picture, or like, oh my God, you have to get,
Interesting.
It was never candid moments. It was we're posing. All pictures were posing.
And what's funny too back then is there was always someone in the group who had the digital camera and was known to go around and take all the pics, and then they go on Facebook and make
tag
an
everyone.
album. Yeah, I remember. I mean, all the time. Even Brooke, she always took photos. She and I had a lot of pics together. I had a digital camera too, and I bring it everywhere, and then you upload it onto Facebook.
Yeah.
So random.
I don't think I have any photos, like any, between 2006 and 2012. Like a good 6 years, I never had. The only pictures I have, I remember there was one with me and Mio outside of Outback, and my mom took that when she was visiting in like 2007. I had an Ed Hardy shirt on.
I remember this picture. You're really tan in it.
Yeah, but that was it. I have all the pictures I have from LA is when my parents visited. But that was it.
Also, too, that's the kind of person you are. You're not someone who would care about taking photos. Like, even for me growing up, we loved grabbing like the moments and the pictures, and I would even have obviously the camera where you go around and you take it. I had like this silly little sidekick too that you would take pictures on. And I loved grabbing as many as I could, but that's why, like, during the time that we met, I didn't take that many pics because they were all on the phones, and I don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
At least we have some photos, though.
We have some, but that was the 6 years that was missing. In high school, my parents took pictures, and then once social media became something, and once I got on TV, there's like photos and interviews of me out there, but that all became business. If there was no Instagram or this wasn't the reality, I still wouldn't have taken them. Because I'm like, what am I going to... Because I didn't understand that, your kids can see you when you're...
I love memories. I'm a very sentimental person, though. Always have been.
You definitely are.
You're not.
No. How long do you wait to throw cards out when people send them to you for your birthday?
I mean, I still have a huge pile in my little safe that I have.
Yeah. I used to hold them because I felt like weird. Now I'm just over it, where I'm like, you know what? I read the moment. I felt the moment. I'm not going to keep the card.
It also depends, too, who it's from. Like, when it's from my parents or even a grandparent, those I really treasure.
Yeah.
I mean, I have stacks in that little, I guess it's a drawer. It's not a safe. I don't know why I said it was a safe.
You got a safe?
I don't have a safe for my cards.
I don't even know you. What's in there? Are you sitting on cash and gold?
No, just all my birthday cards.
All your birthday cards.
Go into the safe.
Okay.
No, I have this little area in my closet where I keep cards. I keep sentimental things like photos from the past that are actual printed photos. just little mementos that mean something. I have this little box I keep them all in.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I probably do have some cards in there. As I've gotten older, though, giving cards, I feel it's just really, at least for me, for like family and, you know, some friends, but people don't really care anymore.
Yeah, I just don't know what to. I mean, it's like if I write my mom something on Mother's Day and I tell her just like how much I love her and appreciate her and what I've learned from her, and then her birthday's in December.
See, this is
like,
where
what are you
we
gonna? I mean,
differ.
it's almost like you do something nice for like a 60th birthday or a 50th or 70th, where you're like, look, I haven't written anything to you in 10 years. Here's how you've impacted me and how much I love you these past 10 years, in case you forgot. But it's like if you're gonna write something every 3 months, or like I go, hey babe, here's our anniversary, here's something nice I'm gonna write you. Then it's Christmas, then it's Valentine's Day, then it's your birthday.
Yeah, give me all the cards, babe.
I mean, I do, but I make them funny. I more make our cards where
Yeah.
I'm making basically bits based on things we've discovered in 3 months to make them funny. But that's how I look at it, where I go, what is someone going to write me?
But that's where we differ, because you really could care less. Like, truly. Like,
No, I
sometimes I'll
do.
get you cards and I'll write, and I go, he doesn't care about this. But a lot of people, like, they enjoy when their heart's touched. Not saying you don't.
Maybe I'm just spoiled that I have people in my life. Like, maybe it's just like one of those take for granted moments where I'm
Sure.
just like, I bet you there's people who don't get cards who are like, man, that would mean the world to me. So maybe I'm being spoiled in that sense. But
I think there's also something that really shows how much they care when they're actually writing. They're taking the time to sit and put pen to paper and write you
yeah.
some nice sentiments. Like, I even have this list of songs that my grandpa had given me like a long time ago, when he was like, yeah, one day at my celebration of life, these are the songs I want played. And I still have that because it's his handwriting, and there's something so special about that to me. So that's why I keep cards, just for the sentiment, if there's something really nice in it, or I don't know. I'm way more sentimental than you.
And
it's weird.
but it'll mean something one day when people are no longer with us to go back and read those, because we don't have, you know, you look at even my parents, you know, they're not putting anything on video.
Yeah.
Like when our kid's kid, you know, like even right now, if we want to get to know our great grandparents, there's a yellowish photo maybe of them, and that doesn't tell you anything. You have to hear stories. But how interesting would it be if they, like, everyone who's like obsessed with social, pretty much, I'm stereotyping here, but let's say 40 and under. The kids who are 5 right now, when they're great grandparents, those kids are going to be able to see that their grandma was 19 years old doing a renegade dance.
Yeah.
And you get to see them and you get to hear them and you get to maybe learn from them.
Yeah.
Where you didn't really get that unless someone wrote like a journal that you could read from back in the day. Our generation, if you were born in like the, maybe 70s, 80s, probably more 80s, 90s and above, there's going to be so much footage. Like, there is going to be an unlimited amount that you can look at great-grandparent Freddie and Alyssa's podcast 200 years from now.
Well, that's crazy, but okay, 2 things. So, number 1, isn't it so interesting that you said all the photos that you had from earlier on your mom took, you know, and like when she come to visit, but now anytime we go to visit them, I'm the one on my phone, and you as well, who has the photos of your parents, the videos of like everyone, like even my grandparents, or my grandpa when he was here. I took so many videos with him, pictures. Even yesterday, we Zoomed with my grandma, who's going to be 90 in June, my niece, Juliana, who's going to be 2, and my mom and my sister and dad, but we had 4 generations. And I took pictures of that because one day, Jules can be like, this is my great grandma that I actually got to video chat with, you know?
Realistically, we should record those.
I know. Ooh.
Well, I mean, you should.
Just to have.
Yeah, because when Jules,
too.
when she gets, you know, another
When
year
she's-
older, me especially like 3 years older, then she'll have some memory of grandma. But yet again, you just don't. Like when I was 7, like when my dad lost his dad, I was 7, and so I remember, like moments, but I don't. I was 7. You don't think of anything. You're just like, I don't have any. There's no video of us like sitting down doing. Like, there's just nothing to relate back to. Sure. So I think if we start recording things like that, and what, just to have it as a reference.
It's special. Like, even for me, I'll go back and look at stuff of my grandpa when I miss him. I have videos of us or of him talking, or I have an audio when I interviewed him that I'll just listen to because it gives me comfort,
Yeah. Maybe it's just the form. Maybe it's just the form of how it is. Isn't it interesting how, like, a video, how I consume and learn, and how, like, a card is written, but I don't read, like, much, like, maybe it's just...
That's why cards don't mean as much to you.
I mean, they do. We're being silly here. I get it. I'm doing it as more of a bit. They do mean stuff to me. I'm just being practical about the whole thing. It's just sometimes it's a little goofy that
you're a practical guy, Fred.
Yeah.
Practical wet blanket. That's my man.
A practical wet blanket. That'd be a great... That's the name of my book.
There you go.
A practical wet blanket. Because I'm actually not a negative person.
No,
I just don't.
Positive.
I just overthink things that are told to us that I just go, well, when was this created and why does this exist? Isn't this a little silly? Practical wet blanket.
That's great. Write that one down. Or guess what? We have it saved here on video.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrote you first.
Practical. Yeah. Well, first we have to get through this, everything that's going on out there. We actually have some good news, though.
Tell me what you heard, because I know you're watching something.
Well, because we've been taking it in. We've been cautious, and I know you've been on me more. I've been wanting to talk about it more. You've been like, just don't. But and I'm glad we've waited, just because we're kind of gathering information.
Mm-hmm.
We had our whole journey of... I think we all heard it at the beginning. We're like, this is nothing. I think at one point, whether it was January 30th or February 4th, at one point, I think we all felt like, this is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it hit, whenever the day was, I forget now because everything feels like it's the day after Christmas. Whenever it was, I know for sure I had a picture of me on Instagram, March 14th, wearing a T-shirt around my mouth, going to the grocery store. So around that time is when we really were like, oh, wow. Like, I think the last time I went to a restaurant was like March 11th or 12th.
Yeah.
And we went to Rocco's. It was so good. Great place to have gone last. And then I remember moving on, being like, okay, we can't do that anymore. And then we've been kind of waiting. The whole purpose, I believe, from the shutdown was we wanted to flatten the curve. That's what everyone said. Mm-hmm. Is that if everyone wouldn't have stayed home and we would have gotten too many people ill and needed hospital equipment and we didn't have it, that would have been tragic. Mm-hmm. And it appears that we were never understaffed or under-equipped for ventilators or hospital beds during this whole thing. There were times, especially in New York, that had it tough. But if you look at all of us as a whole, we did a really good job. Mm-hmm. That we had that. And now I feel like if there was a spike or a hot spot, we are prepared. We were like 6 to 8 weeks behind, but now I feel like we're getting people the equipment. We still need more equipment. We still need more testing. But I feel like we are prepared. God forbid there's another spike.
Right.
So that worked. But what we started thinking, because we have been, especially you are the most extreme of being protective. I am still extreme, but, a little leeway here.
Blame it on the OCD.
Yeah, you're like, so we even took the most important, in my opinion. We didn't leave the house for 2 weeks during like the turning point of all of this. Basically, The first 2 weeks of April is like when we were really trying to figure all this out. Now that there's a little more information, we've been sitting around. And I was like, well, how is this going to change? Mm-hmm. They talk about reopening. So, but there's nothing different between March 21st and April 24th. There's no difference other than we're more prepared, which was great. We're more prepared, but
it's still out there.
It's still out there. So if we go out on May 15th or June 13th or July 16th, like, okay, what's the difference? Yeah. They're not going to have a vaccine. Best case scenario, 12 to 18 months. Mm-hmm. But the other good news that we waited and got some information on is the CDC put out the numbers of the cases. And under 60, with no what's it called? Preconditions? Yeah, pre-existing conditions. You have such a low, unbelievably low percentage that you could pass away from this or have complications. If you're over 60, that's still going to be more careful. They're probably going to be a little more locked down or kind of go out at your own risk in a way because you're in a higher risk group. But then each individual over 60 is going to, yet again, pre-existing. Are they healthy? That's going to be a whole other thing that's up to individuals to decide. But the stats show if you're under 60, you have a very, very low chance of actually passing away from this.
Yeah.
With that said, you can't get it twisted, young people under 60, that you can't be irresponsible and be asymptomatic and be out there and spread this to someone over 60 or someone who's vulnerable. So you have to be selfless that, yes, you probably, if you're under 60 and you're in good health, you will most likely, if you were to get it, most likely, you're not going to die from this.
But there are anomalies.
Anomalies, and you could also give it to someone who could. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at this as like smoking, and I used to smoke, so I'm not having any judgment on it. But people who smoke cigarettes, you're just kind of like, that's not good for you. And the secondhand does affect people. But imagine if a study came out that goes, if you even smelled secondhand smoke, you were going to die. If someone was smoking a cigarette now, it's not just about them. It's like, yo, that smoke could like blow and kill some. That's kind of what this is right now out there, is that if you're not taking precautions, it's not just affecting me. I don't want this to get back to our grandparents or parents or people who are vulnerable or anything like that. So with all that being said, I'm feeling really good with all this information of what I think is going to happen. And I'll just put this on record. We might change our mind in a day, in a month, but I think we've gathered enough that I think this is what's going to happen, and it's actually good news. They're coming out with antibody tests. They're going to make those more readily available as we continue to go. We need more testing in general. Another thing that's really good news is that there are probably 10 times to 20 times more cases than reported. So in the United States, whatever the number is today, I don't even know what the number is of total cases, but times that by 10 or 20, that's probably how many people have it. It's just 70% of people aren't having any symptoms, which is good because you don't want to be sick. The only bad part is that you could be spreading it and not knowing. So taking temperatures before going into businesses again, to that 70% who have it with no symptoms, it's not really going to do anything. So there's ebbs and flows with this whole thing. But that means that if that many people have it and you compare it to the number of deaths, it's actually, even with from 0 to 100 years in age, it's under 1%.
Yeah.
If that is true, that 20 times more people have it, they're just asymptomatic. So it actually makes it a way less fatal illness. Now, when it comes to reopening, we just need to wear our masks just to protect people. So if you are asymptomatic, you're not spreading it. But I do see us now starting to reopen certain things, but we're going to have to socially distance and we're going to have to wear a mask. I still think people won't. There's going to be a group that won't wear them. And I think just yet again, maybe when more information comes out, people will change their mind, or they won't. But at least we have a mask that can kind of help. But it kind of just shows that we all are in this together. Like when we go out and we walk, when I see other people with masks, it almost just seems like, oh, you have my back, I have yours.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I would never say anything or shame someone for it, but at the same time, like, why don't you just put something over your mouth? Like we're all like.
What if you're asymptomatic and you don't have the mask on? It's
Yeah.
careless. It's rude.
And so I think that's our best case here, is that we're waiting on this vaccine. But if we can just get everyone to put on a mask, like don't take away people's liberties of going, like open things up slowly, but wear a mask. Don't do the big gatherings. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to open up where you can get your nails done, your hair done. You're going to be able to go places with a mask, wash your hands. And if someone like you and I, we don't come in contact with anyone over 60.
Yeah.
And we're in a range that that we are in a really good position with it statistically. So if we wear a mask, we go out, we stay away from people, we wash our hands, we'll be good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be great. But we have, like, Georgia's opening back up, and I'm really hoping that that goes well so that it can show us that we can socially distance and wear a mask, get people back to work, and that'll change. But I think the older generation is going to stay home. I think things like basketball, baseball, football, UFC, I think they're all going to get back with no fans. They'll test them. Something like the entertainment industry, if you use days as an example, I don't know yet how that would go. I don't have enough information. I haven't heard an idea where I go, oh, that seems right. Because if they tested everyone, every worker, every makeup, every hair, every actor, everyone, and they go, okay, no one has it, and 7 of you have the antibodies. So these 7, if it comes out to be true that if you have the antibodies, you can't get it again or spread it, then those 7 never need to waste tests again. Those 7 are good to go. But then would you have to test people every day into work?
Yeah, because all of those people go home to their families, and who knows where their families have been, their kids.
But then that same thing's going to happen with basketball and baseball.
I know. That's why it's this crazy situation we're in.
But they're going to have to do it, because that brings me back to the point that what are you going to wait on? They're not going to keep sports out for 18 months.
I don't believe life is going to go back to normal or a new normal until there's vaccine. I really don't. I understand there are going to be ways that they're going to try and reopen parts of the economy and the country with the antibody test, with all these social distancing masks, all great ideas. But until there actually is either medicines that they know quickly cure this,
or at least help people not die.
Exactly. Then we're talking. That or a vaccine, I just don't see, because unfortunately, I think what's going to happen is Georgia's the guinea pig right now. Hopefully, everything's good. Hopefully, people practice the social distancing, the mask, and they're able to live a good life and numbers don't go crazy. Unfortunately, my gut believes that's not going to happen, and I think we're going to see a huge spike, and people are going to go, oh my gosh, this is serious. And then we're going to go through a second wave. So that's why I think it's so important to keep people home as long as possible so that we're not spreading this.
I agree. I think they should stay home as much as possible in the sense that we shouldn't go to restaurants or go to a rave.
Yeah.
But to go outside, to go to the grocery store, to go to the gas station wearing a mask, eventually going to get your hair cut where the hairdresser's wearing a mask and you're wearing a mask, I think is going to have to be the norm. You can't wait 18 months for people to get their haircuts, and that kind of essential services will become essential in the sense of like dog grooming, hair, chiropractor.
Remember even my dad's hair yesterday on the Zoom? He was showing us how long it was getting.
Yeah.
It still looked fine, but it's longer than I've ever seen it because he hasn't been able to get his haircut.
I really like what they're proposing. I think if your numbers are going down like they have been in Georgia, that letting people go back out, mandatory masks, is going to be great.
It's a great
start. Basketball players, because even if the basketball players get tested and they're going home to their families, but overall, yet again, look how staying home has stopped this greatly.
Yeah.
Everyone wearing masks and getting back out there is still going to stop it.
Yeah.
It's still going to slow it down because unless you lock everyone down, but we still have people delivering food, you still have people going to the grocery store, you still have people going to work who work at the nurses, everyone's still, and it's working.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a wider spread, and you can't treat New York City like Wyoming.
Sure.
So I think it's all going to work out, but this is the first time that I looked at it and go, I see this happening now. We have enough information. Mm-hmm. Every month that goes by, there's going to be more towards the vaccine, more towards medicine, more information.
Yep.
If they come out with like, it's conclusive, this doesn't morph. Wow. Okay. Or if you have antibodies, it's conclusive, you can't get it again or can't spread it. Those are big keys that help us. Yeah.
That will be huge.
Yeah.
Because I saw too that LA is starting to, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, they randomly gave 1,000 antibody tests to just random people who lived in LA. And based on the results, they were basically saying that they believe way more people in LA have had this than we believe, which would be a good thing because that would bring the death rate below 1%.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it really,
and the herd immunity aspect of it. If that's it.
True,
and has this been here since December, January, February, and we just haven't known?
November. I've read a lot of stuff about that it's been
so
around. So we don't know.
We don't know. And the asymptomatic thing is what is the tricky
so
part.
Bad, yeah.
Because people could have it and not know. Then it makes you wonder how many things have we all had all these years and no one had symptoms to it. Like our bodies fight it off. Our bodies are incredible things, incredible vessels. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it was important to at least like share where we're at as how I feel because we have been extremely strict. We have not left the house without a mask. We've only left the house twice in the past 3 weeks.
I know.
But now I'm at the point where I was like, babe, there is us going for a walk with a mask, staying away from people, and we found a good neighborhood to do it in, because this one here is like a playground. But we drive down the street, we park, and now we're going to go into this like different area that there wasn't anyone there, which makes it easier. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to go and like hang out with friends or go to a party or anything like that. I mean, we're still going to get our groceries delivered, but I'm not going to feel weird anymore like leaving to go get gas or go for our walk and be outside. Yeah. Because we can't do that for a year, and no one can. And you can see people.
Can we?
If we had a house, maybe.
If we had a house,
if we had a backyard, maybe. I actually would. Why would I leave? Yeah. Why would I drive or do anything if you can get groceries shipped and we had a backyard where you could work out, get some sunlight? But here we just can't do that until we can figure out where we're going to go, which I'm also excited about, because I'm really rooting that everything goes back so people can get back to work, so that everyone can plan their life. And same thing with us, we don't know. Like, we're just like looking at our clock, like, what are we going to do?
I can't wait again to be able to go get food. That was like one of my favorite activities, to go sit in a restaurant and just go get food, maybe a cocktail. If you could go to any restaurant right now and have a meal, what would it be and where would it be?
I mean, in general, but if we were just like around here, like I would go to Rocco's, or I would go to, or I would go to our, I don't even know what that place is, but that one bar we walk to, where we get our chicken.
Merchant?
Yeah.
I like that. I'm really craving Chili's. I would like their nice queso dip with the chips. And then maybe like their crispy chicken salad with some ranch.
This is kind of, you talking about a restaurant though, is kind of like it's December 27th and you're like, so babe, what do you want for Christmas? It's like, well, let's talk about that in November. Like, that's really far away.
So far away.
But us going for like a walk today is right around the corner.
We can do that.
But a restaurant?
I'm just so hungry, that's why.
We might go to Mars before we can go to a restaurant.
Do you know, last night I had a dream where you and I were trying to figure out which fast food chain we wanted to go to, because there was McDonald's, there was Carl's Jr., like there was literally every fast food chain just right next to each other. This is what I dream of. What food I can get, because I miss eating it. And I know that you could get things delivered, but I'm still a little iffy about that. That's what I'm dreaming about at night. What food we're gonna choose.
It's helped us. We have saved so much money and so many calories that we haven't ordered any food in. And I'm kind of used to it now. Like I've created, like tonight we're gonna do tacos.
Yeah. Finally got some ground
but it's all homemade. Like we're cooking, we're saving money, and it's showing me like we don't have to spend money. And I love that we're not like, sitting around being like, let's get McDonald's tonight. And that's where we're being a little crazy. I know a lot of people are ordering in, but we just, I'm like, I don't mind ordering groceries that aren't open. Yeah. Like, if it's something sealed, you just wipe it down. And for us, what we're gonna do. So, but it's helping us with diet and everything. So I'm feeling pretty good. I had a couple weeks there where I was out of control, but I feel the past week especially,
pretty good.
I don't feel like I'm sacrificing. I just have a new routine that I'm looking forward to eating, and it's less calories. The band workouts I've been doing have been great.
You've been crushing those, baby.
So I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good.
You know what I mean? Like, overall, I'm feeling good. I think people are getting a little restless, but I think as long as we keep staying home. And I'm optimistic now, and I was less optimistic 30 days ago, but I'm starting to see like, oh, it is okay to wear a mask and go out. Just be thoughtful, So I feel good about it.
Good.
And so that'll be really good. But yeah, let's wrap this up. We got some more guests on the hook coming up, but I also, we have a lot more that we want to discuss and share with you.
I had a lot of fun chatting today. It's been a minute since we've gotten to do that.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. Like now it's too late in the podcast to talk about the but we have like our merch coming soon, and that whole process I want to chat about. And
it's funny when we do podcasts solo, because we end up having discussions that I feel we wouldn't have in real life.
Well, you're forced to listen to me.
I don't listen to you in life.
No, I was literally talking to you while you were putting your makeup on. You're like, can you just like give me 5 minutes? I'm like, I'm just talking to you about what I want to talk about today. And you're like, we'll talk about that later. I'm like, all right.
Because I was concentrating, baby. You don't know what it's like. when you're trying to like make a straight line. Like, I need full concentration.
I guess.
Hey, at least, here you got my undivided attention.
Yeah.
Cut to like 6 podcasts a week of just us.
I know.
Like, no.
No, but we're hanging in there. I hope everyone else is hanging in there, and that we've done a lot of great stuff as a human, as a collective human beings here on this planet. I think we're making the best of where we're at right now, and we just got to take day by day, keep learning, keep educating, and look at many different sources. That's why I never want to tell people what to do, because I'm not an expert. I'm just gathering information. So if anything, I'd recommend, if you're looking for recommendation, is look at people on YouTube, look at the news, but look at different stations. Gather like 5 sources. You have the time now, unless you're in a job that you're still working. But for a lot of people, you're home. And it's like I try to educate myself from all different points of view to then make a decision with my common sense of like, I kind of like this and this. This kind of makes sense. I can see that happening. Like I can see NBA coming back with just the players and no audience.
Yeah,
I see it.
Of course.
So it just makes sense to me. But I'm wishing everyone well, and we'll be back Sunday. And for the winners, congratulations.
Congrats.
And we'll hit you up soon, and we'll get that going. So appreciate your time, and until next time.
Bye.